All right. Today is a very peculiar and special episode. Namely, I am not doing this one live. And it has a very special reason. The reason I'm not doing it live is because I'm going to do sound design. And if there's anything I learned in the last 2 days is that I don't know what I'm doing. So um, I prefer it not to be live so I can control the narrative and I just can make myself look good in the edit. So here's a clip of me knowing what I'm doing. Yeah, it's already vaguely audible. Let me crank up the volume. There's a little droning noise. You can hear the flame. And now when I go, it blends into this weird sound that pitches a little bit up depending on speed. So it's going to be a matter of layers upon layers upon layers. What's nice is that every card already has the sound emitter, so if I'm able to get close to one of them, you can hear what the other cards sounds like. There, they're all together. Let's take a listen. It is not bad for a first start where I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just very happy that yesterday I was able to figure out how to make the sound loop without there any pops, and I'm still not sure why that is. Originally I had a sound that was looping in 2 dolls but not in the third doll, and that kind of just sucked, and then I put it in Unreal and there was a clicking in Unreal as well. I also checked the compression settings and they do make an impact on how much of the clicking that was audible. So I went back to the basics. I decided let's just have a pure sine tone of 1 second, so you know that the sample just loops perfectly, and that seemed to work. So my goal for today is to have something good, hopefully sounding at least better than what we have right now, and it has to sound relatively good. The sample is going to be 1 second. I'm going to import it in the game, and I'm just going to hope it's going to be passable. So lots and lots of potential, and unfortunately I'm not very skilled, but that's why we do indie stuff. We do indie stuff so we get exposed to more things and grow as developers. Look at that beautiful green tinting applied. Wow, that's a nice touch. All right, enough of the droning. Let's go see what we have. Here you can see the loops that we have. So here this is my first time using Reaper. I'm still in the evaluation phase, but I'm fairly sure it's going to be a full purchase soon because I don't know what else to use, and I've grown accustomed to it. But here you can see that I have the two sound effects, the slow speed and the high speed, and I just forced them to be exactly 1 second long and very repetitive. So you can see it has it plays 3 times a second and with loopage in it. Hopefully we can make something more interesting. So I have a huge bank of sound effects, and I'm hoping to find something interesting in here that I can use. I think this rumble is going to be a good one. Wait, which one was that? Ref short C. Yeah, I think that's automatically a winner. So let's see what I can do. And now I'm going to be finding a short loop that I can use. Ooh, this is going to have some dynamics. I think that's a good candidate of a sample. You can see me zoom in on this thing on the webcam. My face is getting closer. This one's a bit harder to read. Also, there's this high frequency detail here that applying an envelope is going to get rid of. But you can hear that high frequency detail. Yeah, that's really annoying. So let's go for a little EQ action. Which one's good? I need to start adding things to my favorites. Just get rid of it. That doesn't get rid of it. Sure how this EQ works. Can I have... I want the fanciest Ray EQ. I remember seeing another one that was really good. I think it was another Cocos. A fur. Yes, this is the one where I can subtract. I think this is already a good sound if I pitch it down. Downside of using this rate is that it gets fed after, well, before the effects. Let me try something. I don't think I want to subtract the lower frequencies, but I do want to neuter them. So let's go for another reefer. And now the should be quite bassy. Okay. Can I do a pitch, ray pitch? What is this? Let me check it out. That's a very good pitcher. Yes. Oh, my mission was to make sure I have 1 second. Just making sure I want to go and render to a mono stem. Now that I have this mono stem, there's no effects applied to it anymore, so I'm going to split at time selection. Let's find 1 second of time. This timing is really weird to me. Still missing a bit of knowledge in this area, but I'm going to enjoy my donut. That's a good donut. Wash it away. Cool. I'll make it even weirder by looking at myself eat. It is what it is. I don't know how I can make this into one cohesive looping sound. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the volume envelope to make the whole thing cohesive. I'm not going to apply some sort of compressor because I think going that way, it doesn't automatically loop because the compressor doesn't take loops into consideration. So I'm gonna go see that. Get rid of these. So that's our starting point. We're gonna align it with the end. How to do that? Wait, let me put this here. Now I'm gonna snap this against the end of it. Can I do that? Can I snap it against? No. Can I take these two? There we go. So this one's perfectly at the end. Now I'm gonna go improvise. As you can tell, I'm just being very, very naive. The hope being that this all results into some sort of cohesion. Very experimental. Okay, how does it sound like? I don't know where the comes from. It's louder, but is it also higher? Let's try adding them to a folder. Because now, if I were to... Can I collapse this? Oh, I can. And I can see the individual components. Can I add a... Yes. This is a weird peak thing. Can I generate peaks from just this thing? So items have peaks. This one just has one messy. Is it just this sample? Can I mute just this bad boy? So weird how there is this fade in. Is that a thing? Can I just have many fade ins as I want if I hold like a shift or something? Cheeky boy. All right, so you can fade till there. Oh, there we go. There's the loop. There's a little bit of a knocking going on. Let's isolate it. I think I hear the knocking in this one. It's weird because it's such fading in like crazy. Can I have an automation volume envelope just for this one? I sure can. Get out of here, magnet. I'm improvising. Is it still knocking somewhere? Because somewhere in this mix I forgot to use the right transition types. Now this area here seems like there's a knocking going on. Yeah, there's some knocking. It's something. It is something. Just out of curiosity, what is move to media lane? Oh, I like that. Yeah. Bam. All right. Since they're now in a group, if I go to track, render to monostem. Oh, that gives me one. Okay, cool. Mute. Oh wait, the whole thing's muted. Remove the solo. All right. All right. Don't know really what I'm doing. Let's render this. It's gonna be number 7. Very messy. Let's go into Sakura. Alright, it's something. I really don't like this destructive way of working. Let's just try and fix this one part. Let's see how this sounds. It sounds like the engine of a racing game from the 2000s, and not in a good way. How does it sound if I go into pitch on the whole track? It sounds like the low speed. This sounds like a good sound effect. Let's go and take this sound, render this one. See, this is weird. What's this nubbin at the beginning? That must have something to do with the fact that I applied an effect. This new plan, get rid of you. Take you, split at time selection. Cool, cool, cool. 4, and that's after. Let's give it a little listen. All right, so now the theory is if I go into the track effects, anything before and after should properly apply. Now there was a good reverb, and they spell it weird, so I know it's the correct one. Pitch it down, throw an echo. Oh, that is juicy. Juicy, juicy, juicy. Render region. Re-import with revision 8. Oh. Why does it do that? I think what's happening is the echo doesn't properly get started from the beginning. Can I render the whole thing? So there's no tail, that's good. Go here, render to track. It renders the whole thing. Why is that doing that? Unless there's something really bad about the echo. So the length is 61. That's a big echo. All right, I really reduced that, but what I'm trying to do is if the echo on top of the echo on top of the echo doesn't exceed 1 second, that means that the echo generated by this part of the track happens at the right time, because here there's no echo, so it has to accumulate over the total number of milliseconds as set up by the length. If I understand correctly. Render to mono. How does it sound? So there's a pop. There is a pop. So the EQ also affects timing, but nothing that much. It's so weird. Yeah, I'm just gonna really make sure it's all correct. Yeah, that looks good. Render to mono. Question. Is it the reverb? No, it's not the reverb. Yeah, there's still a little EQ. It's not that one. Cool. Next one. Pitch. There it is. So what does the pitch do? Yeah. So it's just this pitch. Yeah, it's such a weird thing to happen. Let's go. Here you can see it's in a signal goes up, and here signal is on its way down. What if it's an even number? That could be it. Tinier pop still there. I'm going to fix the last part with some automation, with some with an envelope. Did I even? That's not how a second works. There, spot on. You become a nice and smooth boy. Number 8, go here, re-import. Yeah, I don't like there's this knocking. I'm fairly fed up with that. Fairly upset. Goodbye, envelope. Yeah, don't like it, but it is what it is. So, and I just need to have something. Let's just go to town. It is what it is. Render, call it a day. Yeah, not happy with how this just sounds. So ideally I want to have it more smooth. Please tell me there's a way to smooth it. I don't know what smoothing's like. So I think what I want is a lot of reverb on top of the ones I already have. Really don't know what I'm doing. Sucks. It sucks. Let's just go for it. Give them a head start. Yeah, well, I'm done. I am done. I don't know. My audio career sucks. Hopefully some better progress soon. But just trial and error. Keep playing with the sound. Keep seeing what comes out. I know a lot of theoretical stuff about how sound works, but I just don't know how to make them. Same as for Photoshop and every artistic ability. Please allow me to talk to an expert and then let the expert just do their thing. I'm a support role. Out of my comfort zone, so that's a good thing. So, wish me luck. Back to the crappy sounds. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make one clean loop and then I'm gonna modulate that in a predictable manner, and that's gonna be the whole thing. Be cheeky and say this is where it crosses zero. This is where it crosses zero. Call that a region. For some reason there's always a duplicate of the first one. That's a good rumble. How do I get this rumble? I need to be able to play it back at a quarter speed. Can I just export it? Now I want some sort of modulation. What is a ring modulator? See if that sounds good. Why is that happening? Such a disappointment. Let's take a look at the waveform. It starts below zero and it ends. Looks pretty loopy. Yeah, looks good. Just so disappointing. I think I'm onto something though. So there's still pop. Ah, still. Also, why is the duration not 2 seconds? Last session, our artist snuck in and he made some changes to the level. We now have this cool tunnel going into an open zone. We got a ramp, and this ramp is nicely positioned that if you land correctly, you fly straight into that. He made a smaller tunnel right here for variety, and then he made these pieces to go from a small tunnel to a wide tunnel, but we don't have any tech right now to allow you to define a single transition. So he made this, and it really messes up with my perspective. You can see it will transition nicely into the wide pieces. Interesting times. Interesting times. I made some improvements to the sounds. Now we have this one. And this is the second one. So the second one is the low RPM engine rumble. And then the first one is when the engine RPM kicks off and you're using the throttle. And hopefully I can blend those nicely. I have something going on, but it's not blended that nicely yet. The other engine sound effects are these. And the second one. But there's this cadence to it, and I'm not too happy with it. If you play with the rate and export it, then there's no saying what the output sample rate is. Also, I have the same sample here 3 times, and I'm only exporting the middle region. The reason I'm doing that is that it also avoids a click in the exported sound. Yeah, don't put any effects on whatever you're going to do to render. A lot of effects, they have some sort of a warm-up period, like a compressor needs to measures the loudness of the signal using a root mean square over a number of samples, and that sliding window is not correct in the first n samples, where n is the sliding window size. And likewise, any echoes, they don't accumulate, they don't build over. What's great about the DAW is that when you play a looped segment, the echoes do carry over the loop back to the beginning, but when you do any kind of rendering, that echoing isn't being carried over. So it's quite frustrating. I'm not a big fan of this destructive audio processing where I have to render a thing, splice it, copy it twice left and right, align all the things. Now I can export it, and maybe the sound's not even being imported correctly. So not a big fan of that workflow. But at least I'm in a state where I can be somewhat productive and I can somewhat focus on making some engine sounds. So we got the engine rumble. Now we want the exhaust sounds in there. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Oh, the other thing about Reaper is that if I export at arbitrary durations, the sound will also have a click in it when looping. So I don't know what values of looping sounds it does support, but at the moment I notice that 1 second seems to be fine. So unfortunately, all my loops are 1 second. Very, very unfortunate. And I'm sure there's more little things in Reaper that I don't know about that are going to make this all easier, but it's been a lot of trial and error, and I'm new to this stuff. I'm still very happy with what I have achieved. I'm just going to make it from scratch. So I have this vehicle cars sound effects. I want it to be smooth. So maybe the beginning of long B. Is this actually a stereo signal, or is it just exported as a stereo signal? Looks mono. Can I spot a pattern? Yeah, I think the sample here is fine. See what happens when I clean it up. Split it up. Get a new track. Go right there. I'm gonna try something new where I'm gonna work on this. So I'm gonna keep this region right here, and the reason for that is I need to know how much to overlap it. Oh wait, I have a little backup. So now all I have to do, go like that, and straight up. See how that sounds. And my hunch now is that if I take this and make a nice loop out of it, and by nice I mean an awful loop, but it's something. Bam, 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 bam. I don't know who Cocos is, but I like their plugins. I think now that I have a good sound, good starting point, let's go for a mod. Is there any better mod? Wow. That is fancy. Get rid of it. Oh, it's a fancy compressor. Get out of here. Good thing when I look at pitch. Alright, now I'm scared it's gonna be in one of the fancier plugins. Oh, I do like Reefer. Can I add it as my favorites? Oh, this one's fancy. No idea what it's doing. That was a Butterworth 4-pole. Yoink. Let's go make it a valid loop. And now if I play with the effects on this track, I should be able to make something worth it. Let's go for Reefer. Now all I need to do is find a needle in a haystack. Alright, that sample lines up. Let's focus on this zero crossing. So this is the first sample above it. First sample above it. Make him kiss. Yeah, I think I can work with this. render. Let's get the EQ. Let's get the fur. Let's get a mod. Let's get a vol. Let's get a comp. Bada bing, bada boom. All of this combined is gonna sound right. Fade in, fade out, fade mid. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Let's try the other way around. This is very tiresome. Let's go for it. So now at low speeds you hear the engine rumble, and going up it will be less of a rumble, and eventually the engine's gonna overtake. But let's listen. Right, so I did a bunch of stuff off camera. Mainly what I did is I refreshed the last two sounds and I made some new versions, and I got them all imported in Unreal Engine. So what we have is we have two engine sounds, a low rumble and a faster rumble that are mixing depending on speed. This is the second layer, and this is more hovery and this is more engine-y kind of sounds. And they get mixed depending on speed too, and finally the whole thing gets mixed where we still play a little bit of engine, but it gets muffled out by the, I'm just gonna call it the exhaust part. I'm very happy with that being the first attempt. We have our sound submix, and this one is for all the cards itself, and a meta sound is assigned to the sound submix, and I assigned a compressor. And this compressor, what I'm hoping to do is that when there is one engine, it's unaffected. When there's multiple engines around you, they do get a little bit louder, but it's not going to blow out the whole mix if you're in the middle of something. So that's how the compressor is going to work. Later, I want to have some side chaining with music. That would be really cool. Once again, to make sure we never really clip. Explosions are gonna sidechain everything, so it's really just gonna make an impact. That's the plan. I'm just gonna give them a head start, and let's go. Not a sound designer, so I'm not very happy with the sounds itself, but I am happy with the whole composition, and this is a very good first pass. So obviously, next step, wind, reverb in the tunnels is a good one. We need some, of course, the impact and explosion sounds. Of course, we don't have any explosions in there. I would like to trigger more explosions, but all of that, and of course, the music. So all of that's going to really tie it together, and hopefully that's a good enough first pass where we can actually not be too embarrassed to show it to other people. Of course, I'm showing it to you now. I wasn't doing this in a live stream because I was figuring a lot of this stuff out, and I didn't want to, someone tunes in and I just scare them away with my incompetence. And now I can at least say I'm a little bit less incompetent. And oh yeah, but I'm excited. I want to do more of this stuff. Sound design, it's tougher than I expected it to be. But the hill of incompetence, I'm climbing the first step. There's a huge valley ahead of me, but it's a nice climb. I feel very yeah, I feel like I progressed a lot in this area. So, okay. This is my third outfit in this video. It's been a multi-day operation. I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for tuning in. Much appreciated.